70s suburbia on a quiet Sunday morning. I'm here for a barn find, weirdly. Of course, it's not a barn at all, it's a garage, it's a 70s garage. Sometimes the best cars are found in these sorts of circumstances. And this has come about from a chap I've met through these electric cars. And he said, Johnny, you like old cars, don't you? I've met someone inadvertently whose father's passed away and has had this car in the garage and it hasn't been on the road for over 30 years. Fast forward till now, we've been allowed out, you know, lockdown's lifted-ish. And my friend who's behind the camera, Bryn, hello, a friend of mine for many years, who's into old cars of this nature, has actually done the deal to buy the car that's in here. So today, we're gonna see it for the first time, and we're actually gonna get it out and hopefully we're gonna get it running and then on its way to a new life. I'm Jonny Smith. Welcome to the Late Break Show. I don't trust this door. It's always carpets, isn't it? It's always covered in carpets. And this is the thing. Really, really beautifully survived cars, usually exotic cars. They're cars that were expensive when they were new and they were maybe sporty and had provenance in racing or whatever. But actually the stuff that's rarer to see is this kind of thing. It's a family car, and that's what this was. This was a cherished family car. And this hasn't been out there for over 30 years, and that's what we're going to do today. So this is a Volvo 145, 145 being the estate, 144 being the saloon, and this was the thing that replaced the Volvo Amazon, which was notorious for being amazingly robust, could do huge amounts of miles, and these are the kind of cars that just got bought and used and used and used and used to pieces. The same as the Mercedes 123s, which I've had a few of. They were very rarely put in a garage and kind of worshipped because they were too useful. And this particular car is owned by a chap called Trevor, and Trevor's family, as I said, are in there. But this car used to get used for only long journeys. They had older, worse cars for short journeys around the neighbourhood. So this thing used to go all over because Trevor's job involved going and working at nuclear power stations. So he's an engineer. And I think that he liked this car from an engineering background because it wasn't exotic looking, but it was engineered to last. And it has lasted. Oh look, look at this, look. So the number plates, I do love a raised digit plate. Oh, and spare new old stock wiper blades, magic wipers, superior 5-edge design. That's the colour of every office in the 70s. It's a 1973 car, I believe it was made in January 73. It was parked up here in around, we think, November 89 because the tax ran out in November 1989. So that's the last time it was used, we think. I'm doing this in December 2020. So it's over 30 years since it's been outside or struck up and used. Oh my gosh, the smell. Ever so slightly mouldy vinyl. Of course it is, you knew it would be. So, GKR 345L, this is your life, as far as we can tell. So this is one of the cool things about cars, because they can't talk. You have to try and piece together what their life was like. And his dad, Trevor, the late owner of the car, was very meticulous. He was telling me about this, I'll take it out. That's this car on one of the many, many camping holidays. And that is the owner, Trevor, Dad. Because what Dad used to do, apparently, and I love this, I can weirdly relate to this, is on holiday, you'd get there and everyone would enjoy themselves and go camping or whatever. Dad would either do car maintenance or DIY around the holiday home if they were in the holiday home, or just generally I guess, live underneath the Volvo. And there's more than one of these photos in existence to prove it. In fact, let's look in here because I'm sure in these documents, look at that. Wow. Oh my gosh, what was that? very keen to do hands-on jobs was Trevor, which is why we've got evidence of wiring. We've got little notes and marks on the things he liked about it, the things he wasn't so convinced about. Proper Volvo service manual for the exact year. Look, so the real deal is incredible. And the old sales brochure, which I do love an old sales brochure. Gosh.
And the irony is that I've just sold one of these because I bought one at the start of the summer.
This is the thing. So just before discovering this car, Bryn had already bought another old Volvo project. But then when we got wind of this and he saw this, he was like, this is way better. I want this one. A lot more personality in this one for me. And this is a company car as well. I'm buying this as a company car. So it's got to be a business decision. It's strictly a business decision. I forgot they were still making that in 73.
Good looking car.
I love the 1800 ES.
Who wants a glass tailgate? Me.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I slam it really hard, I lose the whole of the back of the car.
It's actually 1,800 kilos.
It's 1,820 kilos. Look, it says it there. It's 1,800. I'm not kidding you. It's there. Look. Oh, hang on, that's curb weight. Oh no, I was looking at gross weight. I've totally lied to everybody, you and the audience. It's approximately 1,300 to 1,335. Sorry.
That's more like it.
Oh, I don't know where to start. What's this? 2 pints of oil, half a pint of radiator water at 111,000 miles. Wow. Well, I can relate to this with my dad because my dad's not a car guy per se, but he's an engineer, so he's from an engineering background, and I think it's exactly the evidence of that. Someone that's quite interested in the nuts and bolts of it and the construction of it and keeping the machine running well and efficiently, and I think that's exactly what Trevor was here. I've noticed, in fact, it says here, look, Volvo documents including 1985 accident/repair. So
yeah, £850. He was paid.
Yeah, a cheque. There you go.
In 1985.
Yeah, November 85.
And I think he paid £1,200 for the car about 10 years before.
That's amazing. Residuals were really good then.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, here we go. Look, so Friday 27th of September 85, 2:30 p.m, junction of Lamer Street and Share Street in Dunbar. Weather was fine, road conditions were dry. Other vehicle, brown Ford Transit, UNL 545Y. My speed, 15 miles an hour. Other vehicle speed, 10 miles an hour. Turning corner. Oh my gosh, it's a detailed diagram. Blind view. Pavement. 4 foot 6 inches, of course. Volvo travelling south down Lamer Street, Ford turning left and south from Volvo damaged front near side wing bonnet. This is what started the journey of claiming on insurance by the car. So we've put the camera down, uncovered the car, and I actually think the paint is going to come up all right. We know the bonnet and the front wing were repaired and repainted, but everything else we think could be as was. And Bryn's brought just a little foot pump in the shape of that. And even the family have come out to have a look at it. Are we going to get air in the tyres, Bryn?
We've got air in the tyres. I'm just trying to see if there's a tyre code on it to see how old the tyres are. But what I want to try and do is, I've got spare wheels and tyres, but I want these wheels and tyres to roll out of the garage. I want that battery to turn the engine over. I could be wholly unrealistic. I've got about 3 hours till darkness.
Goodyear Grand Prix.
They're good tyres.
Yeah, they are.
You know.
Again, the condition is really good. You can see all the maintenance stickers. The B20 engine's a bit of a legend actually, the old red block. It's a very strong 2-litre engine. Not massively powerful, but strong. That battery has been in there a long time. I know I don't think it'll work, but what I do think is that the condition of the battery tray, and I don't know if you can see that in there, is really good. I thought you were being ambitious. Right, we've stopped for a coffee. Bryn's put some air in the tyres, haven't you, Bryn? And the tyres seem to be staying up, which is cool. That's the good bit. Bad bit is we realised the handbrake was on and it is properly, I think, seized. So we're not going to be able to push it out the garage. Bryn's got his Landy Disco there. We're going to give it a bit of a tug out. Hopefully it'll release the brakes and unseize them. The sun has come out for us. And the family have actually come out of the house and they're quite excited to see it out in the sun because it hasn't been out there in, nobody really knows. Trevor apparently used to occasionally push it out, wash it maybe, and push it back in. You've got to look in here, Bryn. We know that this car comes with a number of spares, but I don't think we quite realise how many spares. There's spares in the car, there's spares out of the car. We got the wing that wasn't used from the donor car, doors, and what looks like a tailgate. And that's a fuel tank. I've just realised my coffee is right next to a Volvo steering column. That's the whole column. So this is fantastic car hoarding. Do love an old badge. It's a Deluxe. There's a pile of bricks there, just just in case. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put the seat back. I can't get my legs in. Oh wow, what's that? Bryn, have you seen the aftermarket cassette player? It's amazing. I'm gonna leave the door open because I can't see through all the dust. Let's just hope that the brakes are not too seriously seized. And then we'll... Yeah. Is it freed off? Brilliant. It's freed. That's really, I think we're lucky there, because sometimes when wheels seize, and brake seize, you can be there all afternoon trying to free it off. Look at it. The sun's come out for it. And I honestly think, I don't know if this is unlocked or whether it's locked. Oh, don't go breaking my car. I couldn't if I tried. Actually, it is a Volvo, you won't. You can, the latch has gone in but not released, it's just lack of lubrication. Yeah. I'm just marvelling at the condition of the tailgate. The fact that you've got a spare tailgate over there and you won't need it is really good. Because they're always the first casualty, aren't they? On family cars, rot. You normally get all the rot on the leading edge. The chrome's really straight. Volvo flaps. Oh, I love a Volvo flap. Oh, yeah. Filthy. Rear valance looks okay, actually. A bit frilly on the edge, but I mean, the attention to detail that Trevor gave it. He's hand painted the tow bar frame to match the car as best he can, which most people just would never have bothered. If we'd pulled this out 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been collectible at all. It's only in, I think, the last kind of decade or less that 240 Volvos, the whole drift scene, the whole modified turbo brick thing has become an interest amongst people. So I'm kind of glad it's lived here for so long. Come and have a look at it. Now that we've got it out in the daylight and the sunshine has actually lifted the car, the interior, apart from a bit of mould and there's one repair on the seat or two repairs, everything else is very good in here actually. And there's a spare back seat that we found earlier on the roof. There's the tape player, look, aftermarket cassette player in there with the twin knob down here, and it's got this bright reddy carpet which is actually in really good nick. I was lifting up the mats earlier on, it looked great. There's 3 stalks on the top of the dash with like notes on them to say whether they're good or not. So such is the fastidiousness, which I do like, but the car feels very well put together in that way. When I wound the window down, that lovely sort of geared smooth action was there. And apart from, there's a few rust scabs, but I actually think it's quite minor. which I'm really excited about. We've just got, Bryn's just got the stuff out of the boot. So coming out and have a look at some of the stuff that we've got in the boot. And everything shuts well. Look, we've laid out the 70s carpets, well 60s, possibly 50s, to just have a look at the stuff, and it's all labelled. Look, Volvo parts, lamp lenses, 4. All minor flaws except 1. Look, so obsessive in a fascinating way. New in the box, amber, driving glasses. It's just, it's always a travelling razor, it's a soap, I think, matches. What the hell's, oh, it's a little radio. Yeah, the Superjet 2. Services napkins, you never know when you might need them. Oh yeah, 12 volt car kettle. You never know when you need to boil a massive amount of water whilst driving your car. This is brilliant, I love this. Look, aftermarket windscreen wiper interval control. You can control the interval of the wipers. This is way before that was ever an option on a car. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh my gosh.
Everything's labelled.
Look, everything. And the date, August 89. Wow. Okay, engine wise, Bryn's just put the big battery on it, the mother battery, which all respected car enthusiasts carry in the garage. And we're gonna turn it over with the king lead off, just to get the oil circulating around the motor, and then we're gonna see if it fires, whether we'll use fuel that we put into the tank or whether we'll take off the feed, we'll see. We're gonna do that. The exhaust hasn't fallen off. That usually when I pull cars out of garages, the first thing that gets left on the floor is the exhaust.
How many Volvos have you pulled out of a garage?
Not many.
There you go, my friend. There you go.
Not many. Okay, so look, where is it? There, look. Friday, 3rd of June, 88. This car was put in, we know, in 89, and it hasn't been driven since. And there's just spares for everything. And of course, at the back of the garage, there's bumpers, old school roof rack, grill. Ooh, Swedish treasure! And I don't mean adult pamphlets. Look at this. It's just more Volvo goodness. Because pre-internet, buying obsolete car parts could be really difficult. So if you found a donor car or you found bits in a scrapyard or someone selling bits, you kind of buy more than you needed because you didn't know how you'd find them again. I know that's the first stage of being a hoarder. It is, isn't it? But it's true, and I can...
Don't point at me.
Yeah, well, you know, we've all got a bit of the disease. And I think the worst bit of rust that I've found, and it is minor, is just where this closing panel here is spot welded on, and it's starting to scab around the back of the sill. But I mean, look, you can see. Yeah, I mean that seam, that sort of pressed seam, which is always the giveaway that is really good. We're on this really quiet, quite affluent street area. Since pulling this car out, we've had the lady next door who's lived here for over 50 years saying, oh, I remember he's had this, he used to always talk about it. The granddaughter of the owner, she was saying that Grandpa used to talk about it all the time, but she'd never seen it without carpet on it. And then a guy came walking around the corner who was a friend, a childhood friend of James, chap who's sold it to Bryn, saying, God, I remember seeing it. He said, I used to ride to the cinema in this, or no, not to the cinema, because that was a short journey. Used to ride to the cinema in the other car they had, the Rover, or the Zephyr. But he said, yeah, we'd go out in this sometimes on journeys and days out. And I think he got quite emotional because he reached in and smelt the mouldy vinyl.
He said he remembered the door handles.
Yeah, they are quite distinctive though. I mean, they carried those over to the 240, didn't they?
Yeah. But interestingly enough, he remembered the internal door handle. So he literally looked at the internal door handle and was like,
the pull. Of course, you pull it back to open, don't you, rather than lift. Have you had a look in this box? Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Real driving gloves. Partridge. The reason why you're watching this video is because you enjoy the Carchaeology, don't you? Just like I do, just like he does. But we've found loads of stuff, alternators, bags of jumpers, there's the missing wing mirror. Bit of wet start in here. But even better than this, look what Bryn's just discovered. And even he didn't know. This is a 7-seater. This all folds out with the armrests. I didn't even know this was an option back then. And I've just had a look under here, and look at the condition of it under here. There's the fuel tank, look. Fuel tank's still shiny steel. Look, this folds up, this folds in, and then it can see it goes in like that, like this, like that, like that. Careful, I'm gonna try not, so that goes into, look how neat that is. And then these bungs go like that, pull that down, folding in. Oh my gosh. You're trying to tell me that an SUV is cooler than this? I don't think so. Look at that. Big flat boot. And then, oh, don't worry guys, got some extra seats. Oh, so nifty. That bit of vinyl there, look, to catch the crumbs of your biscuits that your kids will drop. That there, look, a little flap, that goes down. Oh my word. Behold. It's good, isn't it? So I think we're going to turn it over now with that lead off, and then we'll see if we can get it to fire. Come on, let's get it to fire. You pull the choke out.
Choke's out.
It's not turning as fast as I want it to, is it?
Might have to hook it up to the Discovery.
Yeah, I was thinking, should we turn the disco around?
I've just noticed the date on the battery is April 1986.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. It's got a cap in it so you can start rolling it. Right. Yeah, one more.
Drink, my guilty.
Yes. One more cap. God, that smells terrible, that blowback. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. It does run, but only on what we tip in. The car's not special to most people. It's an old Volvo estate. It's not an exotic piece, but what it is, it represents, you know, a really practical car that was a very well-made car, and it represents a lot to, I guess, this family, and now to Bryn, who loved the story behind it, loved the fact that a completely obsessive nuclear safety inspector bought a Volvo when it was, what, 2 years old, and has kept it until he died. And it's sat in suspended animation in this garage with a whole load of parts. And we've just proved that it runs and it will live again, and now it's going to get on a trailer and go back to Bryn's and become his daily driver. It's great. I love it. Just needs the fuel system replacing. The pipes are very perished, and it's dripping petrol onto the exhaust, which is why we're not going to run it much longer, but we've proved that it runs. It's great. Love it.
Well, you know, during lockdown, we do our daily walks, and we walk around. Normally I'm looking at electric cars and he's saying, don't look at that, look at something more interesting. And we saw this house being cleared. There was a big skip, but I noticed there was something behind the skip, which was this car. And I suddenly thought, Jonny Smith. So I immediately shot an email to Jonny saying, you've got to see this Volvo. I actually came and had a look, spoke to the owners. They let us have a look around. We couldn't see much because it was covered in carpet, but we could see enough, and we could see all the spares behind it to think, wow. So that's how we got here. And as you can see, it's incredible to find a Volvo of this age in this condition that's been in a garage for, what, 20 odd years. So that's how we got here today. You just don't know what's behind the door, and unless you actually say, is it okay to have a look, you never know. You've got to ask.
It's the coldest day so far this year, December, We've got about 20 minutes of sunlight left, so we've got to load the car onto the trailer, but I thought I would just say thank you so much for watching the video. These sorts of discoveries, they happen a lot, and they're not always in these barns, mythical barns in the middle of nowhere. They're sometimes on normal streets right under your nose. If you want to see more of these, please let me know in the comments. If you know of a car like this that needs to be discovered and maybe given a new home, let me know below, or contact the Late Break Show on our website, which I'll put in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Jonny Smith. This has been a beautiful Volvo 145. That man behind the camera, Bryn, is going to save this car, and you have been wonderful. Thanks for subscribing. If you're a Patreon, thank you for being a Patreon subscriber. Cheers.